friend Roger Christofferson here again with another version of my series Overlooked Gems. This is one that was on the top of the list of ones I wanted to do, and I'm glad I waited on this because I only recently discovered there's two versions of this album. It is Richie Sambora and his solo album Undiscovered Soul. And I remember when I first got this album, it came out in '98, and I listened to it. I was totally blown away because I had gotten his original soul album, Stranger in This Town, and that one did not blow me away, although I thought it was a good album. The production on that one was such like an 80s production, even though it came out in '91. It had that 80s production feel to it where it was very sterile, it was very compressed, the drums sounded lifeless on it, the guitar tones were so processed, and it was such a blues sounding, on his vocals were really processed too. It was such a blues album, and it lost all the blues feel because of the production of that album. It really bothered me. I would really hope someday they can go back and remix that one or redo it with anything with the all the effects they used on it, because that album just the life was sucked out of that album in my opinion. On Undiscovered Soul, all that life was back there. It's a more raw sounding album. It's a more rock-ish Americana type sounding album actually in spots. And Richie's always had this, like, I've had this love-hate with Richie Sambora with his guitar sound, because I love the first Bon Jovi album. I was like really young when that first came out, and that album just I thought sounded great. I know he didn't play on Runaway, I know that, but yeah, it had a cool guitar sound. I like the rock feel of the rest of the songs on that album. And then when 7800 Degrees Fahrenheit came out, I just remember thinking that's the most awful guitar sound I've ever heard. It just sounded, even to this day, I don't like listening to that album just because of the guitar sound. It is so bad. It's kind of like, Metallica has the Saint Anger drum, the snare sound, excuse me, that people hate. For me, this is like the guitar sound that I can't stand, like, of most of these albums that came out in that time. That one, this is the one for me that I just can't stand because of that sound. And then Slippery When Wet came out, and it's, of course, got big production on it. Even the guitar sound on that one I don't think is amazing. It wasn't until like New Jersey or even Keep the Faith really where he started getting a really good sound, and for me, and I actually because of that, I actually went out and bought a Strat, the Richie Sambora model Strat, because it had the cool sound, it had the tremolo system on it I wanted, and I just love Strats, and his model just actually had everything I wanted. I was because I was a huge, actually, Richie Sambora fan of his sound at all, but that Strat actually had everything I wanted. I still have that one to this very day. So, like I said, it's a love-hate relationship I have with his sound, and he's done a lot of other stuff too. He's did some stuff with Cher. He did some stuff with Desmond Child on his solo. He just did that album here a few years ago with Orianthi, and obviously Bon Jovi. So he's done a lot of stuff. But this album, out of all of that, is solo aside from Bon Jovi. That is my favorite thing he's ever done. It comes in, with Made in America. It's a big intro to it, and then it kind of pulls back a little bit. A lot of dynamics in that song. Very Americana type sounding album. Love that song. Hard Times Come Easy. It's like Down That Same Road. It's got a very cool upbeat catch to it. And then Fallen from Graceland, the song after the third song in, is just one of those songs that probably my favorite one on the album. Actually, that the song just got such a cool feel and vibe. He sings amazing on it. His guitar playing on this album is amazing, which unfortunately leads right into my least favorite song on the whole album, which is If God Was a Woman. Kind of a heavy rocker. The song makes absolutely no sense to me, but it's on there. That's like the only one on the album I think is just one I just don't care for. And then another like slower song, All That Really Matters, sings amazingly well in that. It's just a cool ballad. Just shows his writing talent. He's got like three different styles he's really just dove into on this album, and he just shows how great he can write. Then there's a heavy rocker that called You Are Not Alone. He's got a weird cool effect on his voice on this one. It rocks. Cool song. In It for Love, which is kind of like another mid-tempo type thing. Really catchy. Great singing on that one. Chained is a little bit more hard rocking. Nothing really special about that one, but it's a cool song anyway. Now Harlem Rain, another cool mid-tempo, slower type song. Just great singing on that one. It's amazing how great of a singer he really is. He really shows his chops on this one. He doesn't try to strain like he kind of like on this first album there. He kind of like was really trying to push and show how great his vocal ability was, but it sounded a little bit strained on that one. He's lost all that. That's gone on this one. And then Who I Am was the next song on here, and from what if I'm remembering this correctly, this one was done live in the studio, just one take, jammed through, no overdubs or anything, just went through, killed it. Got an extended guitar solo on it. He just rips. It just shows how great of a player he actually is. Cool sound. I mean, his guitar tone on this whole album, he's got several different tones, all great. Got a little more clean. This one's really dirty, rough, distorted sound for the soul. A little bit of a wah, possibly. You hear a hint of that on there, and just great. And Downside of Love, kind of, another mid-tempo slower song, cool though, and ends with the title song, which is, another longer one. A great way to end the album. Cool, like rocker, and I love that album. Now, what I was talking about earlier is I didn't know there's another version of this album. Apparently, before this album came out in '97, there's a Japanese-only release. I don't know how I missed this. It's weird when this stuff happens, but completely missed that there was another version of this. And the Japanese edition, same songs, same recording, but completely different sound. The mix is completely different. There's a whole lot of chatter going on between the band members between the songs. They're talking about stuff, and they're kind of, just talking between songs, and the feel of it is more raw. The keyboards, there's more piano in this one, and a few of the songs more acoustic brought to the front, but somehow it rocks a little bit harder. And the track listing is a little bit different. It's not anything weird. There's a couple songs that are flip-flopped in the running order, and when I listened to that, it was like listening to the album for the first time all over again. I loved it. This version, I love both versions, but this one, I was like listening to it all over again. It's like you were there in the room with him. It felt like with this one, it felt like you were part of the experience. Like it kind of drew me in even a little bit more than the other version, the one that I've had for all these years. I don't know. It's something about it. It's a lot longer too. It's about an extra 8 or 9 minutes longer because of all the chatter and extra stuff they threw in, and they throw in a reprise of All That Really Matters at the very end, which I could have dealt without that. That's the only thing I don't like about it, is the very last thing. They did this weird extra reprise at the end of it, which didn't make any sense at all. I don't even know why they threw that in. That was kind of garbage, but the rest of it was cool, amazing. It just brought on a whole new feel to the songs. So I don't know which one to suggest over the other. There's actually a 1988 tour edition where there's a little live EP added on too, which I have as well. But the albums itself are cool, amazing, worth checking out if you don't like Bon Jovi but you like that style of music, and you got like a little bit more soul, a little bit more blues in your songs, a little bit more Americana. This one covers all of that. This is a great album. I can't suggest it enough. It's never grown old for me. It's one of those ones I could put on any point in time and love any song on it. Maybe except if God Was a Woman. So that was the one I really don't like. But any other song on here, amazing, worth a shot. If you haven't ever checked out any of the soul stuff, start here, and then probably really all you need, quite honestly. The other two are okay, even this newer one, the Lowdown or whatever it's called. I can't even think of the name of it right now. It's okay. That one's a little bit more hard rocking too, but this one here, Undiscovered Soul, has really everything you're going to need. Start there. Let me know what you think. If you guys have any other suggestions, or tell me what you think about this stuff for Richie Sambora. As always, feel free to share your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. See you.